So most people, guys, ruin their beer right here, and they do so by taking it out of the fermenter way too early. This beer here is at day 10, and it's exactly where I want it to be. So in this video, we're going to talk about how long beer actually needs to be in the fermenter and why rushing it is going to cause you problems. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Big Robb from Make Beer Easy, and I help people brew better beer without overcomplicating it. Oh yeah. So let's get at it, guys. I do have notes here. Why? Because I'm 51 years old. I drank too many beers in my life, lost some brain cells, don't remember everything I want to tell you right off the cuff. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. I'm making sure you get all the good stuff. Let's get into it. So why people panic at this stage? And I did it for many, many years, panicking. I put the beer, I'd make the beer, and put it into the old fermenter, and then I just wait. How come the airlock's not bubbling yet? What's going on? What's happening? And then the airlock would take off, the bubbling would happen, get all excited, everybody gets all excited to watch the bubbles, the foam taking place, and then after, 4, 5, 6 days, the bubbling stops, okay? People panic because they don't understand what fermenting really is. You understand fermenting is going to make the alcohol, but you don't understand the process. And I'm going to go over a few things, and I'm going to get into exactly what happens day 0, ground zero, all the way through to the end of fermentation. Okay. So what happens day 10? Right now, it's actually, this one's been probably. This one's my old Timber Pale Ale. You can look on my channel and find that recipe, or head over to my blog, you can get it. It's an all-grain beer. This started very strangely, and it's probably because I had it in my closet, which was next to an exterior wall, so it was a little colder. It took about 3 days for the bubbling to start. I actually brought it out of the closet, put it into my, just the room that the closet was in, and keep it at about 19, 20 degrees Celsius, which low 60s Fahrenheit. I like 63, 64 Fahrenheit, somewhere in there. And then it took off, and it bubbled probably 3 days, 4 days, and now nothing. Like the airlock has completely dropped. There's suction right there. If I pull on it, there's no gas coming up through. Okay, so people panic right now. They're like, "Oh, what's going on?" You know, as soon as the airlock stops, is fermentation stalled? What's happening? It's totally normal, guys. That's the process. Stay tuned. I will walk you through the exact process of what happens from ground zero, day 0, all the way up. I recommend minimum 14 days. Minimum of 10 days. 14 is what I like to do. So most beginners think fermentation is exactly what I said. Fermentation is bubbling, and when bubbling stops, fermentation stops. That's incorrect. Yes, the majority of fermentation happens during that stage, but there's a lot of other things that happens during the fermentation stage besides just making alcohol and CO2, okay? Conditioning. The yeast starts eating some of the off flavors that it's created, starts conditioning itself, so you're going to get better tasting beer by waiting longer, okay? And it's the hardest thing in brewing to do. Patience, not for me anymore, but it was. Now I don't give a shit. I just keep the fermenters full, and the kegs stay full, and the bottles stay full, and you're good to go. So what fermentation actually is, yeast makes alcohol first, okay? So the yeast eats all the sugars that you've produced when you made your beer. That turns into the alcohol. It also produces CO2, which is the bubbling, okay? So it pushes all the air out, which is a good thing. So it's all full of CO2 here now, and the oxygen's all gone, which is good. You don't want oxygen in your beer. Only time you ever want it is at the beginning. When you pitch the yeast needs some oxygen to repopulate and to grow. So that's the only time oxygen is good. Oxygen's bad the rest of the time. So why day 10 is totally normal? Most ales and kits benefit from 10 to 14 days. So a lot of you guys are beginners, and my next batch I'm going to brew is actually a kit beer, Cooper, so stay tuned. Hopefully that's going to happen next week. I got the kit on the way, and I'll talk about that in another video. But most ales and most kit beers especially benefit from at least 14 days. Kit beers especially. So one thing people complain about is the kit beers don't taste that great. They've improved vastly in many years, but one of the things, and there's a few things, I'm going to do a video real soon on how you can improve a beer kit, but one of the main things is letting it sit. When I do a beer kit, I'll do 3 weeks in the fermenter. So let's make beer easy. Do I sit here with my hydrometer doing what the experts do? No, I'll make beer easy. I do not test this thing every day, every second day, and check the gravity. I do not do that. I do 14 days, and then I will test the gravity at the end of the 14 days and see where I'm at. Okay, that's all I do. This is, man, it's all about make beer easy, baby. Keep it simple. It's just beer. Yes, there's a difference between making shite beer and good beer, but if you follow what I'm teaching you, you will make good tasting beer. Okay, what you're not doing yet. Okay, so this is some notes I put. What you don't want to do at this stage or any stage of fermentation is you don't want to open that fermenter. You want to keep that oxygen out so that no off flavors are occurring. You don't want oxygen to get in, which will cause the off flavors. This is one of the biggest problems that new beginners brewers have, is that their beer becomes oxygenated, and that causes lots of off flavors, a lot of the problems that brewers get into. Don't touch it. Don't move it. Clearly, I moved it. I don't give a shite. Okay, I'm teaching, so I don't give a shite. I moved it. I typically wouldn't move it. I'd move it out here to get it on camera. You wanted to see my nice Speedell, isn't she pretty? But don't move it. Just let it sit. Leave it alone. Do your 14 days minimum. Test it with the hydrometer. Rule of thumb, I already said it many times, 10 to 14 days minimum. Kit beer, I do it 3 weeks. Rarely shorter. If you're doing lager, it's even longer. We're not even going to get into lagers. So, what I'm going to do here real quick, guys, for you is I'm going to walk through the different stages. And this is important stuff for you new brewers. What happens to beer in the fermenter day by day? Ground zero through to day one. Typically, and again, it didn't happen. It was happening, but it was slower because I had it in colder temperatures. It took about 3 days for my yeast to wake up. I didn't panic because I don't give a shit, man. I know what happens in the fermenter, and it'll happen. You put it in the right conditions, the right temperature. As long as you did everything else right, you're gonna have some activity. The yeast is gonna get going. The bubbling is gonna happen. The alcohol is gonna take place. Start being produced. Good things are taking place. So 0 to 1, the yeast wakes up. Yeast absorbs the oxygen, so that's when you first pitch the yeast. You want to stir the shit out of it. Or I actually, when I do it, if you watch my videos, I just, when I drop it in, when I'm pouring the beer from the hot side, the kettle, into the fermenter, that's when I pitch the yeast. I'll put a little bit in, then I'll pitch the yeast, then I'll let I'll pour the rest of the wort into it, and that's oxygen in it. It's getting bubbling up. There's lots of oxygen. So it absorbs the oxygen, it multiplies, yeast multiplies, and prepares the ferment. There may be no visible activity, and this is where a lot of people panic. And like, I could have panicked on this one because nothing happened for 3 days. I realized that it was probably a little too cold where I had it, so I moved it into the right conditions, temperature conditions. Okay? No bubbles does not mean failure at this point. It just doesn't. Day 1 through 4, so in my case, it was actually day 3 through probably 7, so still no reason to panic, but day 1 through 4, yeast aggressively converts the sugars into alcohol and CO2. Krausen forms, okay? So you can see I don't know if you can see it, you can probably see in the video, but Krausen formed. Heat is generated, alcohol rises quickly. So you could, and I've done grain to glass in about 4 to 5 days before, because once that bubbling's done, the majority of the alcohol is created. So if you're running short on alcohol and you got to get at it, I've done it many times, it's just better beer if you can let it sit in condition, okay? Beer is still rough, cloudy, and unfinished. Day 4 to 7, clean up begins. So the yeast actually starts cleaning itself up. Airlock activity slows, causing panic to brewers. No need to panic, let it ride. Yeast is still active in there doing what it's supposed to be doing, and it begins cleaning up the byproducts like all the off-flavor stuff that you're going to have, the green apple taste, the homebrew twang. It's in there cleaning up the stuff that causes that. Okay, I'm not going to get into technical terms for you guys. Day 7 to 10, we're into conditioning now. You want to condition your beer. Yeast continues cleanup. Proteins in yeast start settling out, so things are going to drop. Okay, beer smooths out and becomes clearer. So during this time, if you let it sit, you're going to have much clearer beer, which I love clear beer. Okay, day 10 to 14, maturation occurs. Yeast finishes cleaning up, beer stabilizes, clarity improves, and harsh flavors completely fade. What does not happen? Let's go over that. Beer does not spoil, oxidize, or in this time frame with modern and a good yeast. Okay, if you're using a good yeast, if you're using a beer kit, again, I'm kind of getting into stuff I don't want to talk about, but beer kit, get rid of the yeast that comes under the hood, cover, get rid of that, get yourself some good yeast, okay? I'm squeaking away here in my chair. Why day 14 works? 14 days allow complete fermentation, full cleanup, clarity, and stability. Why rushing your beer hurts? Again, you can do it. If you need some beer, man, go at it. I've done it. You'll still get a nice little buzz on. Believe me. Rushing leads to green apple flavors, bitterness, harsh alcohol bite, and cloudy beer. So that's what I got, guys. Rule of thumb, I'll give you the rule of thumb I wrote. For most beers, 10 to 14 days minimum, sometimes longer, rarely shorter. I already covered that. So if you're staring at your fermenter wondering if something's wrong, most of the time, nothing is wrong. Beer just takes time. Remember that. Just tell yourself, beer takes time. This is Make Beer Easy. Don't stress it. So if you want some no-nonsense brewing advice, because I don't bullshit around, I'm just straight on, let's make some beer, let's make it easy, subscribe to the channel. You can also sign up for my newsletter over at Make Beer Easy. I used to own a Brew-Pub, and I give away my personal top 5 best-selling beer recipes over on my blog. You can sign up, get to that. That's it, guys. Feel free to reach out, drop a comment, like, subscribe, all that good shit. This is Big Robb. He gone, as long as I can figure out how to turn this bad boy off. Oh, yeah.